Today I'm going to show you how to make this crescent shaped scarf. This one was made with a mandala cake in the colorway Pixie, and it takes about 500 yards to make this. To make this, you will need an H 5.0 millimeter hook, you will need a stitch marker, and then you will need about 500 yards of a DK weight yarn. Cupcake and mandala work great for this project. You will also need needle and scissors. Okay, now let's get started. So for the majority of the stitches, they will be herringbone double crochet stitches. So let's get started. We're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to stick my hook in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, stick my hook in. I'm going to yarn over, pull that loop through, and then also pull that loop through that first yarn over. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through that first loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to put 2 herringbone double crochets in that first chain. So yarn over, stick my hook in that same chain we just put a stitch in, yarn over and pull that loop through, and pull that through. Yarn over is already on there. Yarn over and pull through that first loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're going to do a herringbone double crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to put my hook into that next chain, I'm going to pull up a loop, I'm going to pull through that stitch already on there, yarn over and pull through 1. Now I'm going to start on the next part of my partial herringbone double crochet. Yarn over, I'm going to stick the hook in, pull up a loop, I'm going to pull that loop through, yarn over and through this one. So now I should have 3 loops on my hook, and to finish off that herringbone double crochet decrease, I'm going to yarn over and pull through. So you should have 2 full stitches here and a decrease here. There will be 3 stitches. So now let's move on to the next row. You're going to chain 1, chain 2. So as you go, you're always going to be decreasing on the same side and increasing on the same side. So in order to help you with this, I recommend taking a stitch marker, and so this is the side we increase on. I'm just going to place my stitch marker right on there on the end of that row, and that's going to tell me and remind me that when I'm getting to my rows, that's always the side where I'm increasing. It'll be a great help if you are doing this project in pieces. If you put it down, you'll always remember what side you're increasing and decreasing on. So let's go ahead and start the next row. I'm going to make a herringbone double crochet decrease. So I yarn over, stick my hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to pull through that first loop, yarn over and pull through, and I did a partial herringbone double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, put my hook through my next loop, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to pull through 1 loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2. I now have 3 left, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. Okay, so that's my decrease. Now for the next stitch, I'm now going to put 3 herringbone double crochets in there. So I'm going to yarn over, put my hook through, there we go. So I'm going to yarn over, pull my loop through. Hold on, that did not snag all the, there we go. Okay, so I pull my loop through, I'm going underneath that second yarn over, or first yarn over, pull through, do my typical herringbone double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, put my hook through, yarn over, pull up a loop, go underneath that first one, going yarn over and do that one again, yarn over. So at this point I now have 2 herringbone double crochets there. Do it one more time, yarn over, put my hook through, yarn over, pull that loop up, and underneath the loop on there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 2. So we now have 3 in that hole. So as you can see, we started on the other side, we did 2 herringbones here and then a decrease, and now that we're going the other way, we put 3 in there. So when you have your chain up, you're going to put, when you start on the side that you're increasing, you're going to chain up and put 2 herringbones on that side, go across until you have 2 left, and then make your decrease. When you go back down the other way, when your increase is at the end of your row, you're going to be making 3 herringbone double crochet stitches. So we've now done 2 rows, so let's go ahead and start the third. I'm going to chain up. Okay, so this is my increase side, so I'm going to put 2 herringbone double crochets in here. So got 1 herringbone double crochet and 2 herringbone double crochets. So I put 2 stitches in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a herringbone double crochet in my next stitch, pull up the loop. Okay, so I put 1 single herringbone double crochet. Now I'm going to decrease in the final 2 stitches. Okay, so I did 2 herringbone double crochets, 1 and then a 2-row decrease. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on the next row. So we will have 1 more row and then we will get to our chain spaces. So I'm gonna chain up 3, and then so this is our decrease side. So I'm gonna make my herringbone decrease. Okay, made my decrease, and now I'm going to make 1 herringbone double crochet stitch in the next, and then I'm going to make 3 herringbone double crochets in the final stitch. That's 1, and there's my second, and there's my third. Okay, so this point you should have 5 stitches in your row, and now we're going to work on our chain spaces. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn our work, and then that first stitch you're going to make a regular double crochet right in there. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and then make a double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, make a double crochet in the next stitch, and then chain 1, and you're going to double crochet between the chain and the final stitch. Okay, now let's move on to the next row. So starting here, this is the beginning of your repeat. With this row, you chain 4, double crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, double crochet, you're skipping one where the chain is, and double crochet, and then your final double crochet will always go between the last double crochet and your chain up from the previous round. So that's the first of the repeat, and then let's go ahead and work on the next part. So chain 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now you're going to yarn over, and now we're going to be back to making our herringbone double crochet stitches. So I am on my decrease row, so I'm going to stick my hook right in top of the last double crochet I made. Make my partial herringbone, and then I'm going to make my next one right. I'm going to start my partial herringbone in, if you can see, the chain 1 spot, the first chain 1 spot. Let me finish that. Okay, so your first decrease should go in the top of your double crochet and then in the chain 1 spot, and then you will go all the way across making herringbone stitches until you have 1 chain left. So you're going to make a herringbone stitch in your double crochet, and then you're going to make another herringbone stitch in the chain 1 spot, and you're going to another herringbone stitch and double crochet, chain one spot, and you're going to go across all the way like that. Okay, almost to the end. So I'm making a herringbone stitch in my last double crochet, and now this last chain one spot is where I'm going to make my 3 herringbone double crochet stitches. So here's my first one, here's my second, and then my final, which is my third. Okay, and now I've done my herringbone all the way across. So now what I'm going to do is chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make 2 herringbone double crochets in the first chain. 1, 2, I'm sorry, that's 1. Okay, there's my second one. Okay, that's 2. Now I'm going to make herringbone double crochets all the way across until I have 2 stitches left. Okay, getting there. Almost there. Just a couple more left and we'll be at the end. So this is pretty much what you're going to be doing every row. You're just making herringbones across, increasing in the beginning, decreasing at the end for 4 rows, and then you go back to your chain 1 spaces. And the rows of the chain 1 spaces will be double crochets in that herringbone. Okay, so we have 2 stitches left. So I'm going to do my decrease. Yarn over. Okay, and work the second part of my herringbone decrease. Okay, I've done my decrease, so now we have 2 rows. Now what you're going to do is make a decrease. Well, let's chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go ahead and make your decrease in the first 2 stitches, herringbone double crochet across, and then you're going to make 3 herringbone double crochets in the first stitch. Yes. So let's go ahead and make our decrease. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and make my herringbone double crochets, and I'll catch you at the end. Okay, so I've done my herringbone double crochets all the way across, and I have 1 stitch left. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to make my 3 herringbone double crochets right in that stitch. Okay, so now we have 1 more row to go before we do our chain spots again. So I'm going to go ahead and chain up 2, 3 chains, turn my work, and why don't you go ahead and do this row, and I will meet you back for this chain spot. So make your 2 herringbone double crochets in the first chain, herringbone double crochet all the way across until you have 2 left, and make your decrease, and I'll catch you at that point. Okay, so let's go ahead and chain up 1, 2, 3 for our next row. So you should have 4 rows of your herringbone double crochets. So I've chained up 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a regular double crochet in the first stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip a stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet in the next. I'm going to chain 1, then I'm going to double crochet in the next. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to double crochet in the next spot. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to double crochet in the next spot, and then I'm going to chain 1, and the final double crochet of your double crochet chain 1 round always goes between your last double crochet and the chain up spot. Okay, so one of the reasons why I really like to do the stitch marker and find it very helpful is because now that you've done your chain 1 spots, you will still always be increasing and decreasing on the same sides. So sometimes it is hard, even with the directions, to forget what side you're increasing on. So stitch markers over here, so I know that I'm going to chain up 3 and I'm going to make 2 herringbone double crochets in that first stitch because this is my increasing side. So I'm going to yarn over and make my 2 herringbone double crochets. I've made my 2 herringbone double crochets in that first double crochet. Now I'm going to make a herringbone double crochet in my chain 1 spot, and then I'm going to make my next herringbone double crochet on top of the double crochet. Okay. And I'm going to go all the way across, making my herringbone double crochets in my chain 1 spot and my double crochets until I have 1 double crochet and this chain spot empty. So I'll catch you at that point. Okay, so I've done my herringbone stitches all the way across and I have this double crochet and chain 1 spot empty. So I'm going to go ahead and make my herringbone decrease right here. Okay, and that completes the row. So now let's chain up 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and make my decrease for the first 2 stitches. Okay. Now I'm going to do my herringbone stitches all the way across till I get to that final stitch. Okay, so I've done my herringbone stitch all the way across. I'm on the final stitch and it is an increased side. So I will make my 3 herringbone stitches in this final stitch. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, so now we're on the final 2 rows of our repeat. And I'm going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make 2 herringbone stitches in that first stitch. Okay, that's 1, and then I'm going to make another 1. Okay, so now I'm going to do my herringbone stitches all the way across and decrease at the end, and I'll catch you there. Okay, I'm at the end of the row and I have 2 stitches left, so I will make my decrease. There's my first of the decrease and there's my second part. Okay, so now we have 1 more row in this repeat. So I'm going to chain up 3, 1, sorry about that, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to make my decrease in the first 2 stitches. So I have my decrease in the first stitch, and now I'm going to make herringbone stitches all the way across until my first stitch is left. Okay, so this is the final row of my repeat, and I have 1 stitch left, so I'm going to make 3 herringbone double crochets right in that stitch. There's 1, making my second, and now I'm making my third, and that will be the end of your repeat. So you're going to continue like this, starting from your chain 1 double crochet spot. So I'm going to go ahead and chain up 3 here, and then chain up 4, and then you're going to double crochet in the first spot, skip 1, double crochet here all the way across, and then put your final double crochet between your chain up space and your last herringbone stitch. So that's the way you're going to go, repeat across, and you'll end with these 4 rows at the very end. But you're going to continue increasing, and the great part is you can just keep going till it is the length you would like. Okay. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.